house guests, welcome to today's bbcan 9 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are Jane Bays? I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. And Migdalia Gonzalez. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so, so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. All right, so when we left off yesterday, first of all, it's double eviction day. But before we get there, when we left off yesterday, Victoria and Tara, both on the campaign trail, they're telling everybody what they want to hear. It seems like every time Victoria talks to the throuple, they really question the move, and they're flip-flopping back and forth. But Beth always seems to bring them back to, we need to take out Victoria. Beth really started putting her foot down yesterday, telling the guys, we don't need Victoria anymore. We don't need her as a number. We have Kiefer, we've got Tina, we've got Brayden. Yeah, when you're in power. They do not have Tina and Brayden. No. No way. But anyway, it seemed like the throuple, Kiefer and Brayden, had all settled on voting out Victoria yesterday afternoon. Nah, there's still more flip-flopping to come. And they told Victoria that they were going to give her their decision by the end of the night. They were going to tell her last night what the decision was, and they did in fact let her know, which we'll get to. So Beth was talking to the cameras in the OLG room at one point yesterday, and she was like, I can't have Spicy V thinking she's the baddest bitch in this house. I am. Boo! Get out of here! So she said, I wanted this move from the start. This is my move. This is not Jed or Ty's move. And she says, I will explain that over and over when I'm in the final two. And Beth is saying she's been such a big part of every decision in this game so far. Okay, Beth. She's really feeling herself right now. She is like, holy crap, I'm getting Victoria out of this house, and that's it. I've won the whole thing. I mean, she's doing the most. So she's talking about moving forward, how she's going to be working everybody. So she's saying with Tina and Tara, I really need to push that this is a girls' game. You know, we all got to stick together. And she says, I've had a final two with Tina since the beginning. Yeah, I'm sure you're like super loyal to that too. But she's going to keep pushing that with Tina and being like, all you have in this game is your word. So, you know, you need to stick with it. Okay. She's going to keep making Ro think that she wants to take the guys out, but she says Ro is just her backup plan. And this is different than what we heard in some of her other camera talks. Before she was talking about how she wants to go to the final three with Brayden and Tina, ideally, because she felt like she could beat both of them. But now, it sounds like Beth actually wants to go to the final three with Jed and Ty. I guess now that she's had her HOH and she's taken out Victoria, she feels like she can beat them. Also, she's pretty convinced that Jed is telling the truth when he says that he would take her to the final two. I mean, they are banging now, so there is that extra layer there. I honestly don't know what Jed would do if it was the three of them in the final three and it was up to him. It's tough to say. I feel like he'd take Ty, but I don't know. I just don't know. Who knows these days? But Beth says she needs Ro and Tara gone next. Okay, so it's just further confirming, like, she is planning now on going to the end with Jed and Ty. I don't know if Beth would beat either of them, even with her making this big move this week, because people do not seem to like Beth. So I don't know. I still am not confident that she would beat them, but it's interesting that her plans have changed now. So Beth was chatting with Tina and Tara in the kitchen, and Tara says, if I win HOH, I'm going to chat with you about what to do. You know, I want your input. You saved me, blah, blah, blah. So Beth says, well, I think the best move would be to nominate Ro and Jed. Because if you leave Ro off the block and try and backdoor him, there's a possibility that he could still win the POV and save someone else as well. So she's like, just put him straight up. Roe is the target, of course, and then if you put Jed up on the block next to him, that will guarantee that Jed gets to play in the POV, because they have a feeling that, Jed would be the best chance to beat Roe in a POV competition. Oh my god. But, if Jed stays on the block, he could go. But Beth is so confident that the throuple has Tina and Brayden. But they don't. Can you imagine if Jed goes up on the block like that and then they just, vote him out? That'd be wild. But Beth says Jed or Ty need to go up, because if they don't, they're also going to be able to argue in the final two, I've never been up on the block. And that is something that Beth wants to save for herself. So she does not want Jed or Ty to be able to say that as well. But I have a question here. Would Tara actually put Roe up? Because that just seems insane to me. I mean, Tara's been saying it. She's been saying that she's going to target Roe. But I feel like that's just a case of, her telling people what they want to hear, or what they need to hear to feel like they can keep her this week. But Tara was talking to Tina later, and she was like, it wouldn't make sense for me to take out Roe or Brayden if I won HOH. It would not make sense for my game. They want Ty or Jed out, but they're trying to figure out a way to do it with not, breaking promises to Beth or anything like that. I think you just go for your targets at this point. I mean, you're so far into the game, you can bounce checks. But anyway, Beth, again, is pushing that the women need to stick together. This is all part of her plan. Okay, so then Victoria was campaigning to Kiefer in the OLG room, and Victoria's like, I need you to fight for me. I need for you to vouch for me with the throuple, because they'll listen to you. So they were talking about some other stuff too. Kiefer says, I don't get how Brayden just moved in all tight with the trio with no repercussions for his actions on the other side of the house. This oddballs alliance. And Victoria's like, yeah, Brayden has been jumping back and forth. And she is pissed at Brayden because Brayden has been pitching against her hard. Brayden was definitely one of the people keeping Beth's plan on the rails, on track this week, to get Victoria out. So she wants to expose him now to the trio and tell them he's playing both sides. He is super tight with Roe, and she was holding back from doing that before, because she didn't realize that Brayden was trying to get her out, but now that she knows that, she's just like, I'm telling on him. So, blah, blah, blah. Victoria campaigns more, and then she's saying, she wants to stay, she wants to take out Roe, and Kiefer's like, I'm so sick of that guy. Canada's favorite. He's so jealous of Roe. Roe and his skip the slot votes. So, Kiefer says he's going to see what he can do for Victoria. That's a lie. He goes up to talk to the throuple, and he's just like, yeah, I'm supposed to be up here, helping Victoria or whatever, but whatevs. Boo. Okay. So then later, around 10:30 p.m., Victoria makes her final pitch to Beth, Jed, Ty, and Kiefer up in the HOH room. And I'm putting final pitch in quotes because, she's still campaigning. So they were also, the throuple and Kiefer were all saying earlier that they would be breaking the news to Victoria after this pitch. We'll see. Okay, so I just want to note, too, it looked like Beth was listening to music during this pitch from Victoria, which seems super rude. I know it's been a long week, and Victoria's been campaigning nonstop, but that's crazy rude. Okay, so Victoria was going over the same stuff for the millionth time. She says, me going this week is not the right move for you guys. This time, Victoria is crying on and off throughout her campaign. She says, they're all coming after you. I will fight for you. I'm going for Roe. I can't go through all this again. I've already talked about Victoria's campaign a million times this week. I can't do it again. But this time, Victoria was also really pushing that Brayden and Roe are working together, which is true. And she says, yeah, they've both confirmed it to me, and I told Brayden before that I wasn't going to say anything, but, now I've been hearing that he's been throwing me under the bus, so, yeah. So she's talking about how this group is Brayden's last choice, since all of his other allies were taken out. And she's like, I can't believe you're okay with that. So yeah, she was really trying to push that Brayden and Ro are working together. So then Victoria's like, everyone's going to tell you when you leave that you made a mistake. I can't believe you're going to take out your own ally right now. And she was also saying, like, please just let me stay another week. Don't get rid of me the week after I, like, made this move to protect you guys by taking out Austin. She says that just makes her look like a freaking idiot. So she's like, please let somebody else take me out. Don't let it be you guys. Yeah. I mean, that was your mistake last week, right? You could have very easily gone after the throuple, but... So, like, after half an hour of talking, Ty says to Victoria, you have been very loyal to us, and I love you. He says, I had images of us going very far, but now we're in this situation. And he says, you'll watch back and fully understand the decision that we're making. So he's starting to kind of say, like, we're gonna have to let you go. He says, we've discussed that you're the strongest player in this game right now. You've won HOHs, you've made big moves, and when it comes down to it, can we beat you? And Victoria's like, those competitions, I won those by a fluke. I'm not going to be able to win any of the competitions that are coming up. Like, you don't have to worry about that. So, again, Victoria's saying, like, please don't get me out. Not you guys. Not the people that I put all of my loyalty and trust into. So, instead of just, like, straight up giving Victoria an answer, Beth says, can you, like, go so we can talk one more time? Oh my god, when will it end? So then Beth, Jed, Ty, and Kiefer discuss the vote again, and Ty and Jed really struggling with it because Victoria's the last person that talked to them. So they're wondering, are we making the right decision here? Taking out Victoria, who is a number for us. And again, it is not a smart decision for Jed and Ty, but they are past the point of no return here. It's a great decision for Beth. So Kiefer continues to push that Brayden is working with Ro, and now the throuple is agreeing. They're like, yeah, this is messed up. Kiefer says, I don't want to talk game around him anymore. Of course, Kiefer's jumping all over this because he wants to be number 4 for the throuple. But they all agree. They don't trust Brayden anymore. They gotta watch what they say around him. So Beth is then like, I don't think Tina and Tara are working with Ro. Okay. So then Tina and Tara come in to chat for a little bit, and Tara is reinforcing, like, I'm going after Rohan if I stay. You don't have to worry about me, blah, 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 blah. So now that they were the last ones that talked to the throuple, the group is back to thinking, yes, Victoria should go. At least Jed did acknowledge, though, that he's, like, the most flip-floppy person ever. He's self-aware, right? So then Victoria ends up back in the HOH room with the throuple and Kiefer, and she's like, what's going on? Like, you guys don't want me here? That's so sad. And they just tell her, like, there's stuff that you don't know. Stuff going on that you don't know about, and it's all going to make sense when you watch the show. So hearing this, Victoria is still trying to campaign. She's telling them, you're making a mistake. And Beth says, we trust you 100%. You know, this has nothing to do with your loyalty. We can't tell you why. Why not? I really don't understand why they couldn't just tell her, you're too much of a threat to win this whole thing. We can't beat you, and that's why we're taking you out. But they wouldn't tell her that. It was crazy. So Victoria's like, I'm not upset. I get it. But I literally can't think of any scenario where this is the right choice for your game. Like, she still kept going. So they keep telling her, you're going to understand when you see the show. As a fan, you'll get it. They said it's a game decision. It's not personal. Just tell her you can't beat her. What? So after Victoria leaves the HOH room, she says to Brayden, I know you've been talking shit about me today, and I'm not impressed. So he's like, like what? And she says, about you not wanting me here. And Brayden says, I never explicitly said that I didn't want you here. I said I was on the fence. And Victoria says it's okay. So it wasn't like a crazy like blowout or anything. She just like, they just had a little discussion, you know? But now Brayden knows somebody in that thruple sphere told on him. So I'm sure he's going to notice too that they're not as forthcoming with information as they were before, because he's pretty perceptive. But that was it. No more flip-flopping after that last night. The decision was made, and nothing really too crazy to report from this morning either. Victoria wasn't doing any last-minute campaigning from what I saw. She seems to accept at this point that she's going. She asked Kiefer, who do you think did me the most dirty with this situation? And Kiefer says, Beth, because she wanted to make a big move, which is true. Like, Beth was the one really pushing for this all week. The guys were the ones that were like, I don't know about this. So Victoria tells him, take Beth out. And I have a feeling Victoria will not be too happy with Beth if Beth finds herself in the final two. But anyway, Beth is riding high right now. She's telling the cameras she's winning this whole thing. She's coming back to Alberta with the 100,000. She feels like she has this whole thing wrapped up right now. But it just reminds me of a few weeks ago when Victoria was the one talking to the cameras about how she's so good at this game. She's the best. She's going to win the whole thing. And now look where we are, right? So, yeah, tonight's a double eviction. We've got 2 house guests going to the jury house. Victoria and... It reminds me of improv. Yes, and... So, yeah. I mean, unless something insane happens, Victoria will be the first one. And then let me know in the comments. Who do you guys hope the second one will be? Who do you think it's going to be? Let me know. That's where we're at. So it should be a lot of fun tonight to watch this double. So let me know what you guys think about all this. And until next time, much love.